Saturday, August 10th at the Dorton Arena, Stateside Grounds, Raleigh, North Carolina. Saturday, August 10th at the Dorton Arena, Stateside Grounds, Raleigh, North Carolina. The Soul Train Summertime Festival. That's right, it's all happening Saturday, August 10th at the Dorton Arena, Stateside Grounds, Raleigh, North Carolina. Headlining this big show, the Shylights. Yes, the Shylights, Saturday, August 10th. Also on this big show, the Soul Children, the Hills Corporation, also on this big show, the Communicators and the Black Experience Band, and Leon Haywood. It's all happening Saturday, August 10th at the Dorton Arena. The Soul Train Summertime Festival, headlining the Shylights. That's Saturday, August 10th at the Dorton Arena, Stateside Grounds, Raleigh, North Carolina. Be there.
We're gonna have a bull-shifted party while you watch a funky eagle fly. We're gonna have a bull-shifted party while you watch a funky eagle fly. We're gonna have a
Soul music, and expression of the African American experience, the love child of blues and gospel. And in no other city in America could you find a more celebrated African American experience than Durham's Haytide. It was a sanctuary for traveling black artists during Jim Crow and segregation, and a hotbed for discovering talent that would eventually go on to command the national stage. Durham's own Clyde McPhatter was one of the most imitated singers of the 50s, and Pigmeat Markham was the first black comedian on the Ed Sullivan Show, and some say the first black rapper.
Clyde McPhatter went to Hillside High School. I forgot what year it was, but the kids was teasing about him walking around trying to sing, and he said one day you gonna pay to hear me sing, which we did.
At the heart of the Bull City Soul Revival's mission is the gathering and documenting the legacy of Durham's musicians and their music.
Lots of groups here in Durham that were doing their thing. For the most part, they didn't get recognition outside of the community. There were only two groups that had albums for major record labels. The rest of the recordings from here were 45s. Most of those were not well distributed and were just released on a local level. So 30, 40 years later, not a lot of people were up on those groups, but if they could find out about them, they would hear some great music and then find out about the stories behind them, would hear of some moving experiences. So that's what we're trying to do with this project.
The inspiration for a reunion came from the successful efforts of musician James Tweet Toomer, who formed the Durham Musicians Reunited in 2008. Durham's music scene was known for its characters, full of spontaneous combustion. John Snells of the Shamrocks and the Jammers Orrin Tracy Marsh played to standing room only crowds, anxious to experience the mischief the two were famous for.
But Tracy was he was really the showpiece of the band. Orrin Marsh, but he was really sort of the centerpiece. And we play along. When things got warmed up, he would go into his program. But he would play keyboard and sing at the same time. Then he'd dance across the stage, back and forth, and mess with the audience and talk and all that. It was a live wire for the group.
And then I started dancing and playing at the same time and singing at the same time. And one thing led to another, and all the time Nick Allen was making big money on processes. Well, I had been in the Army, and in the Army you know how to process your hair with lye and potatoes. Ever heard of it? Never heard of it? Lye and potatoes? Same thing. The lye cooks the potatoes. You put a lot of Vaseline on your skin so that it doesn't burn, and it will straighten your hair. And as soon as you comb all of it out, you wash it in vinegar so it won't turn red. So I started wearing the wig as a gimmick. And I would connect the wig to some elastic thread and attach it to the top of the ceiling wherever we were playing. And I had to have it on. And all these gimmicks, just things came in my mind, just the novelty. And I'd be playing and dancing, all of a sudden I'd dance out from underneath the hair.
National acts like Joe Tex, Wilson Pickett, Tina Turner, and Billy Stewart played the Stallion Club. Unfortunately, Billy Stewart was killed in a car accident after performing at the Stallion Club on the evening of January 17, 1970. Durham Stallion Club was one of the few places in America specifically built to be a club, and it was there that local bands, national acts made sweet soul music together.
The Lee Divers Orchestra was formed without me. I was in service at the time. But my drummer, Jimbo, who anybody that's been around Durham for a long time know about Jimbo. But anyway, when I came to town, then I would play with the Lee Divers Orchestra. Now, the band leader, his name was Leon Penn-Divers, and he was the band leader for Saturday Night Live for the longest. So that's how good a musician he was. And I remember Jesse Suggs, Coolsey Count, who was the judge in Louisiana, was the vocalist. Johnny White was one of the vocalists. The Central Connection was formed, I was coming out of grad school, and this Dr. Straussler, who was the head of the music department, wanted to start a jazz program. And somehow or another, he and Don Bird hooked up, and Bird came down, and I was just coming out of service, and I was trying to start a jazz band because they hadn't had one at school. And anyway, one day I asked Bird, I said, he had the Blackbirds at Howard. So I asked him one day, I said, Bird, if I had a group, would you produce it? He said, yeah. He said, I produce it. He said, but they have to be students. So I said, well, okay. So I sent back to Asheville, got my boys down here, got them in school, and we started this group, the Central Connection.
At conventions, Johnny White and the Elite Band are the epitome of what music is all about. They combine their singing ability and diversity with high-energy choreography that will make you, the spectator, a part of the show.
Baby, baby, let's get together and party hard, me and you, and do the things, do the things that we like to do. Doing the dance, making the love, get down tonight.
A lot of people don't realize that R&B music is a result of the late 40s, where you had black artists who were making a lot of noise over the airways. And rather than put them on Billboard or in Billboard magazine, they created an R&B section so that it would not necessarily be indicative that these artists were black. After that, you had the involvement of soul music. Soul music, I think, is basically a result of James Brown, Sam Cooke, and artists like that. One of the things that gave Durham musicians authentication was the appearance of the modulations on Soul Train. You had Little Nick Allen, Larry Duncan, Hoya Sanders, Chanel. All of those guys went on Soul Train and did a magnificent job. So each time those of us who were performing here or wherever, once we said we were from Durham, people realized that we were a part of what the modulations had set for us. And that was being an authentic Bull City sound. And all of us have built, for the most part, a legacy off of that.
One
famously joined us to do their latest single on the Buddha label entitled Worth Your Weight in Gold. Let's welcome four very talented young men from Durham, North Carolina. They are known as the Modulations.
What happened next? Soul Train.
We got a call.
Yeah. We got a call from our producer, Bob Carrington, letting us know that we needed to get ready because Don Cornelius wanted us on Soul Train.
It took me a while to see that you're everything, everything to me. You're my heart.
Like, wow. So in our hearts, it was like, but on the outside, we was like, okay, because we didn't want to get such a high and then something fall through, and we have to fall so low. So we kept our cool. In other words, we kept our cool, and it was exciting to know that we were on our way to Soul Train. And when we arrived in California, went to the studio, then things started to say, well, yeah, we are here. Yeah, we were very excited. But by the same token, we knew if we were going to be successful, that was a train that we were going to have to ride because, let's face it, it was the hippest trip in America during that time.
When I want you close to me, you're always there. Your love is so valuable to me. There ain't no price tag. Oh, baby.
When I look back, I think of Woodrow Walston, Butch Grady, Herb Jones, Aaron Duck Smith, Sanford Pepe Daniels, Edgar Saunders, Don Alexander. I think of individuals like the Soul Company Band, the Black Experience Band, and so just so many more.
And we also had Henry Bates, who was one time our manager, and we had another gentleman named John Grissom,
Bob Carrington.
Bob. So it's so many that it's kind of hard to just name them all because there's a lot of people that had a lot of influence of what we did and helped us along the way.
And it's really incumbent upon us as a community, and for even me as part of the musical community, to start filling that void so that we can have another generation of musicians that know how to play musical instruments. So the flip side of that is what happened in the Bronx, New York, was there was a complete removal of this kind of cultural component from the lives of these young people, but that didn't stop them from being creative and finding new ways to express themselves. Sampling emerged from a culture of young people that didn't have the resources to create with other instruments, so they created their own instruments. They turned vinyl record players into instruments that you can scratch, that you can make music out of. That's making something out of nothing. I'm sure a lot of these brothers and sisters that ended up being early producers in hip-hop would love to have taken lessons or have had some exposure to live instrumentation, but they didn't have that. What they had was their mama's vinyl record player, and they had their boys on the corner who were dancing, and they had their friends who were visual artists but can't afford a canvas. But you know what they can't afford? A can of spray paint. They can make the wall their canvas. That's like such an important part of the black tradition of innovating and making something out of nothing that really goes back to to our ancestors, not only here in the States but in Africa.
Connect with our Soul Souvenirs Durham's Musical Memories from the 1960s and 1970s exhibit and support our efforts to educate the world on the social significance of soul music. The spirit of Durham's rich black music heritage is alive and present.
Tonight, Sweetwater's is very proud to present Miss Eleanor Cookie Harris.
In our hearts, we celebrate our fallen brothers and sisters, cherish their memory and the gift of music they shared.